In a neighborhood in Brooklyn, a young boy is sprinting alongside his friend when they spot two other boys waiting with a gun near some containers. They all head to a nearby playground where a group of guys are playing basketball. The two boys suggest the youngest one shoot one of the gang members. He hesitantly approaches, aims the gun, and fires. Luckily, nobody is injured. Everyone scatters, including the boys who brought him there. Seeing the chaos, the boy tosses the gun aside and runs off. He returns home acting as if nothing happened, grabbing a soda, watching TV, and then heading to his room to tend to the pigeons he keeps in a makeshift cage. In the coming years, this boy will find himself in trouble multiple times for various offenses like drinking in public, getting into fights, stealing, and even robbery, leading to him being sent to a juvenile detention facility in New York. Years later, two young coaches, Teddy and Kevin, approach an experienced colleague who has trained many boxing champions. They want him to evaluate a new prospect they recently met. Despite the prospect's criminal record and 40 arrests, the elderly coach agrees to see him. He's surprised to find a strong 14-year-old with a powerful punch but lacking technique or style. Kevin is astonished because he thought the guy would be thin and weak. They ask the sparring coach what he's been feeding him, and he jokingly says cola and steroids. The elderly coach inquires about the prospect's name, to which he responds, Mike Costa. When pressed for his full name, he reveals it's Mike Tyson. Impressed, the coach decides to take Mike under his wing. Back at home, the coach introduces Mike to Camille, the woman of the house, who hails from Ukraine. Camille isn't thrilled about having another mouth to feed, but they have no choice. The coach mentions they'll receive extra money for fostering Mike, which could come in handy. Cuss gives Mike a tour of his room and lays down the house rules, the biggest one being to keep everything tidy. When he finds an empty ice cream can, he gets really mad and demands to know who ate his ice cream. Then, he warns Mike never to touch his ice cream again. Mike sticks to a strict sports routine, waking up at 4 a.m. for jogging and training. The coach motivates him with encouraging words and interesting stories, even showing videos of legendary fighters like Muhammad Ali to inspire him. Young Mike eagerly learns from the coach, especially studying the fights of Rocky Marciano. Cuss emphasizes that strength isn't everything, attitude matters too. Rocky never accepted defeat, it just wasn't in his vocabulary. Cuss spends all his time with Mike, molding him into a champion with his wise guidance. During training, Mike perfects his technique and learns the importance of speed and strategy. Cuss teaches him to keep moving, to never stay still, and to outsmart his opponents. Amidst training, Mike enjoys life with his new family, even sneaking a taste of the coach's ice cream without getting caught. When Mike's mother passes away, he attends her funeral in Brooklyn. Returning home, he tends to his pigeons before deciding to bring them to the coach's house. The coach encourages him, reminding him that a true athlete fights regardless of their feelings. He gives Mike a pendant from Muhammad Ali, urging him to take it to the Junior Olympics, which excites Mike. In the 1982 Colorado Junior Olympics, Mike faces his first competition, feeling nervous and doubtful. With Teddy Atlas's support, he overcomes his fears and wins his match with an 8-second knockout. Cuss is astonished to learn that Junior Olympics only have 3 rounds, jokingly asking if they shoot the losers. Recruiters begin to take notice of Mike's talent, eager to mentor the young prodigy. Cuss advises Teddy to keep Mike away from everyone and make sure he gets home safely. He suggests to Camille that since Mike doesn't have a mother anymore, they should take him in. When they get back home, Mike excitedly tells the coach about his win. Cuss playfully asks him, "Took you long enough, 8 seconds?" Then he expresses how proud he is of Mike and brings up the idea of adoption. Mike agrees, and Camille is supportive. He even wants to call her Mom, which makes her really happy. While sitting on the house steps, Mike spots Jim Jacobs and Bill Clayton visiting the coach. These are trusted managers of Cuss. Mike accidentally overhears them talking about him. The coach predicts a future heavyweight championship and a spot in the Hall of Fame, just like Rocky Marciano. Camille notices Mike and asks what he's doing there. The coach invites Mike to meet them, calling them friends who can help keep him out of trouble in the boxing business. Mike rides in the car with his buddy Rory Holloway, discussing their future championship plans. On the way, they see two girls on the street, and Mike decides to introduce himself. But the girls don't respond and quickly run off. Later, Mike mistakenly enters a store, thinking the girls might be inside. The saleswoman calls the police. Angry, Mike breaks one of the shop windows. His friend has to drag him out of there. They hear police sirens approaching and quickly make themselves scarce. The next day, Mike skips his workout. This isn't the first time he's done so. Teddy is upset, pointing out that whenever Mike messes up, he vanishes for 3 or 4 days. It's become a regular pattern. But Cuss remains calm. He believes that Mike just needs the right people around him to win the upcoming championship. Teddy has a habit of sleeping with women in the neighborhood. One day, it's his underage classmate, the next, it's his teacher. Teddy's 11-year-old sister pays him a visit. When he goes downstairs to greet her, he discovers that Mike touched her inappropriately. Teddy is furious and threatens to harm him. Finally, Mike returns home. Teddy confronts him, pressing a gun to his cheek, accusing him of molesting Jamie, his younger sister. Mike insists it was Jamie who flirted with him. Fearlessly, Mike claims he's not afraid. Teddy fires a shot at a tree, aiming at Mike's head level. As a consequence of this incident, Cuss kicks Teddy out of the training camp. Mike mockingly blows him a kiss. Now, Cuss must find a new coach. Enter Kevin Rooney. Mike continues to win fights, knocking out opponents left and right. Newspapers start covering his story. Mike Tyson's world tour kicks off, and the admiration for him skyrockets. During a match, Cuss falls seriously ill and is rushed to the hospital. Mike hurries there, desperately pleading for Cuss's recovery. In Mike's eyes, Cuss is irreplaceable. He's the one who keeps Mike from making mistakes. Cuss gives Mike a clear directive: keep fighting. If Mike messes up, Cuss will come back from the grave and give him a good beating. Tearfully, Mike rests his head on Cuss's chest after Cuss's passing. He sets his pigeons free, feeling the immense absence of Cuss. In a heart-to-heart with Jim, Mike receives reassurance: you've got courage and heart, you've got fists like bowling balls. They share a comforting hug. Now, let's rewind to Las Vegas, 1986. The showdown between Tyson and Berbick will decide the heavyweight champion of the world. Mike enters this fight fueled by fury, seeking revenge against Berbick for his remarkable performance in the farewell bout with Muhammad Ali. Despite knowing that Ali was already unwell, this fight is aptly named Judgment Day. Remarkably, at just 20 years old, Mike becomes the youngest champion in this weight category, marking the dawn of a new era in boxing. Mike and Kevin are glued to the TV, watching their upcoming opponent. Kevin explains the opponent's strategies, but Mike switches channels. Kevin tries to grab the remote, but Mike unexpectedly punches him in the jaw. Furious, Kevin storms off, leaving Mike engrossed in a TV show featuring the famous model and diva, Robin Givens. Jimmy arrives and invites Mike for a chat. They discuss various topics, and Mike opens up about his desire to experience love and have children, much like Jim himself. "Jimmy," Mike says, I saw the most beautiful girl today. She was smart, elegant, I can't stop thinking about her. She's captured my heart. I believe her name is Robin. Is she from around here? No, Jimmy replies, I saw her on television. Mike decides to call Robin, rehearsing the conversation in his mind. When he hears her voice, he hesitates but manages to say, hello. This time, he's determined to have a conversation with the beauty. Robin is surprised by his call, she's already heard plenty about him. Mike takes a bold step and asks her out. Robin attends his fight against Tucker in Las Vegas. During the match, Mike misses several punches. Instead of listening to the coach during the break, he gazes at the beautiful Robin. Kevin steps in to lift his spirits and says, hey, what'll happen if you lose tonight? Your little girlfriend will head home and him. She'll do all sorts of wild things all night long. You know why? Because she's here, for the champ. She doesn't care about Iron Mikey, she just wants people to call him champ. Mike gets fired up, and he emerges victorious once again. After the fight, Mike and Robin ride in a limousine. He affectionately calls her his queen. Robin playfully asks, green for a day, are we? A few months later, Mike calls Camille and excitedly shares that he and Robin got married. Robin is 3 months pregnant. Camille is so thrilled that she's speechless. When Jimmy Jacobs, Mike's manager, takes the phone, he delivers the sad news that Jimmy has passed away from leukemia and will be buried in California. They need to fly there for the funeral. At the airport, Mike, Kevin, Bill, and Lauren, Jimmy's wife, wait for a limousine, which inexplicably takes a long time to arrive. Bill vents to the grieving widow about Robin's audacity, how she barged into the office right after her husband's death, claiming she'd manage all his financial affairs. Finally, Don King's limousine shows up. The cunning promoter has been pursuing Tyson relentlessly. He casually remarks that when he worked with Muhammad Ali, he never had to wait for his limousine. Don invites Mike into his car, and Mike agrees. Billy realizes that Don King intentionally delayed their limousine. The sharks of the boxing business need only a few minutes to skillfully manipulate their prey. Inside the limousine, Don questions Mike's trust in Bill, the second manager, and inquires about his share. Upon learning that Bill receives a 30% share, Don dangles an enticing offer, 5 easy fights worth up to $5 million each. Mike responds that he'll contemplate it during the funeral. Bill questions Mike about what Don offered him. Mike discusses King's proposal but falsely claims he rejected it immediately. Overwhelmed with emotion, Mike leaves the ceremony, tears streaming down his face. Kevin approaches him, inquiring about his feelings. Mike is deeply upset. Despite having money now, he's losing people he once trusted. The dynamics have changed since the days when money wasn't a factor. Kevin probes further, asking about Mike's trust in Bill and Robin. Mike distinguishes between love and trust. The subsequent events include a series of fights and performances by Mike. His wife insists on replacing Bill and managing Mike's finances. Amid other challenges, Bill faces Don King's attack, who portrays Mike as a black slave serving a white master. Don King manipulates the slavery theme in the media, emphasizing the relationship between Bill and Mike. Tyson himself starts echoing this narrative, likely influenced by King, saying things like, blacks should work only with blacks. Disputes arise over Mike's contract, salary, and management commissions. Don King reveals his two-faced nature by being friendly to Robin while pushing her into conflict with Bill Clayton. Simultaneously, he labels Robin a cunning snake who manipulates Mike by pretending to be pregnant, even though she fumbles when discussing the due date of her fictional pregnancy. Don King eventually becomes Mike Tyson's manager after a series of maneuvers. One evening, Mike returns home to devastating news: Robin has suffered a miscarriage. Tyson is late for training, and Kevin calls him out on it. Clearly, Mike is depressed and unable to focus on training. Kevin insists he get to work, but Mike refuses and leaves the ring. Mike's friend confides in Kevin about the miscarriage, revealing that Mike is struggling. Kevin responds, "Yeah, I feel sorry too, sorry to be the only one with the guts to tell him that Robin was about as pregnant as I am." Hearing this, Tyson erupts in fury and brutally attacks his sparring partner. He demands another fighter. Mike gives him a 10-second head start to knock him out. If he fails, Mike will finish the job after 10 seconds. Tyson relentlessly pummels the fighter. The third sparring partner hurries to leave the gym, saying, "Thanks but no thanks, homeboy. Keep your $1,500 a week, I'm out, Mr. Tyson." Atlantic City, 1988. It's Tyson versus Spinks. The lawyer hands Bill an envelope containing documents that reveal he's been fired. Mike steps into the ring with a record of 34 wins, 30 by knockout. He's fighting for the 7th title. Kevin motivates Mike to fight for Cuss and Jimmy. This showdown is the year's most significant event, featuring 2 undefeated champions. Tickets cost a whopping $1,500. The audience includes celebrities like Chuck Norris, Jack Nicholson, and Sylvester Stallone. Mike Tyson secures a knockout victory in the fight. Meanwhile, at Tyson's mansion, Mike and Robin participate in a joint interview. To everyone's surprise, Robin reveals that Mike suffers from manic-depressive psychosis. She candidly states that living with him now is nearly unbearable. Robin empathizes with all the abused and humiliated women. If he doesn't receive help, the situation will only worsen. Watching this broadcast alongside Mike's friend, Don King, leaves them both utterly shocked. They can't believe that Mike's wife would so openly tarnish his reputation. Truly, the Lord works in mysterious ways, performing wonders. Following this revealing interview, Mike kicks Robin and her mother out of the house. "Hey, man, there was a call. Finally, you're here. Where the hell have you been?" It was a domestic dispute call. "Ain't no, __, dispute, everyone knows they're freaking, __. Sir, you can't threaten your wife, you know. If I didn't do, __, I didn't lay a hand on him. Mr. Tyson, we can't leave." Robin files for divorce, granting frequent interviews throughout the process. She recounts how Mike regularly subjected her to physical abuse. According to her, he was a skilled professional, leaving no visible marks. Robin even speculates that he threatened to kill her during their fights. Mike increasingly frequents clubs and public places. One evening near a club, he encounters Mitch Green, whom Tyson had previously defeated by unanimous decision. Mitch claims that the judges unfairly favored Mike in their bout. Seizing the opportunity, he also throws compliments at his ex-wife, alleging they had a sexual encounter at his home that night. Mike's friend tries to intervene, but Mike lands a powerful punch on Green, then hops into a car and drives away. Tokyo, on the eve of the fight with Buster Douglas. Tyson watches flattering interviews with the Japanese, where most interviewees pay homage to Iron Mike. Following Don King's advice, Mike enters this fight with a new team. He has dismissed all the coaches who contributed to his success, including Kevin Rooney. Rooney observes his former trainees fight on TV. The match is led by Douglas. In the 8th round, Tyson knocks Douglas down, but due to a referee error, the count lasts 12 seconds instead of 10, allowing Douglas to rise. Don King is incensed. It's the longest countdown he's ever witnessed. The bell rings, granting Buster extra recovery time. In the 10th round, Mike Tyson suffers a knockout defeat for the first time in his professional career. In the locker room, Don argues on the phone that the 8th round knockout lasted 15 seconds, not 10. He intends to prove it in court. "You won the fight, Mike, riding on my back. The battle was over. I lost." Mike arrives back home, where he shares a cup of tea with Camille. As he gazes at the ice cream container, he chuckles, recalling Cuss's stern warning never to touch his ice cream. "Who dared to devour my ice cream? Never lay a finger on it." In Indianapolis, Mike participates in the rehearsal for the Miss Black America beauty pageant. The women are pleasantly surprised by the appearance of the star guest. Mike joins the models for a group photo and has an encounter with Desiree Washington. Later that evening, he calls Desiree and invites her to a party. She agrees, and they head to a hotel. However, instead of a social gathering with celebrities, Mike leads her to his room. A few days pass, and Mike finds himself in custody, facing charges of rape. The court ultimately sentences the former champion to 6 years in prison. Turn on alerts, like, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Thank you for watching.